Okay, hello and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is our group project presentation and our theme is gas solid separation. Before that, let me introduce our team member. The first one is Chris. Yes. This is our okay. The chemical process involved in gas solid separation. Of the mixture can be a combination of any two opposite states. So the phases are so the feed in the mixture is equal to the product after the separation process. Okay, next, there are three phases may be distinguished in any gas cleaning process. The first one, transport of particles onto a surface, which is separation. The next one is collection of separated particles from the separation surface into discharge hopper. And lastly, disposal of the collected particles from the gas cleaning equipment. This is happen at product. Okay, gas solid separation process. This is a process of the gas separation. The first one, the removal. Let me tell about the gas solid separation process. Gas solid separation. The first is the removal of solid from a gas or a steams. A streams is of great industry importance. So the industry use gas and a stream often. This is especially true in the last 2 or 3 decades, with the increased requirement for effective solids removal from solid-laden streams mandated by law. The process of removal and collection of solid in a gas phase is termed as dust collection. This is the gas solid separation process that we talk about. Okay, the objective of the gas solid separation process is to control air pollution. The first one, to control air pollution from various industry plant. The next one, eliminate safety and health hazards from the workplace in which grinding, milling and packaging operations take place. The third one, recover valuable product from dryers, conveyors, bagging equipment, and other from recycling back into a process. And lastly, also reduce equipment maintenance on rotating equipment that caused by dust. Okay, there are four broader group of gas solid separation equipment, which include cyclone and inertial separators for removal of large solid particle. Backhouse collector for removal intermediate size particle in the middle size. Wet scrubbers employing liquid sprays to entrap solid particles. And lastly, electrostatic precipitators to collect fine particle. The commonly used equipment for all the industry for the category separation of dust particle from air or gas stream is the cyclone separator. This is the commonly often used by the industry now. Okay, the last name. The baghouse collectors consist of a number of filter bags attached at the top of the bag to a shaker arm enclosed in a rectangular chamber. Most collectors of this type have a device to hold the bag in tension. Dust-laden air enters near the bottom of the chamber and flows inside the bag. The dust is trapped on the inside of the bag and the clean air flows through the bag and exits at the top of the chamber. So that's all for my presentation. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So from the previous presenter, I will continue the presentation. So what we got here is the gas solid separation PDF, just as my colleague share. So from this picture, where does exactly the gas solid separation happen? So it happened at the filtration, where from the bottom distillation of the first distillation column, the flue gas from the power plant comes in to the distillation and go to the stream that connected with the filtration uh, stream. So at the at the stream, the gas and the solid separated by the filter, where the solid is filtered to this and become a sludge. Meanwhile, for the gas, it's separated to the condenser and it's also separated to the storage tank and go to the first distillation column back to be a vent gas to reheat and stack. So that's the simple explanation for what is the gas solid separation. Next. So what exactly the concept that the gas solid separation use is the most commonly used technique for the separation, particularly from gases. There are three ways to separate gas and solid. First one is the initial separator. The second one is the electrostatic separator, and the last one is filter, which we use in the PDF. The physical phenomena involved in the separation of solid from gases are influenced by a number of important factors. There are some important factors, not some, there are many important factors. There are many important factors that will be the aspect that we use the gas separation. First one is the properties of the gas, and second one is the gas particle and particle interaction. So these factors are briefly reviewed here first, before we addressing the principle of the various type of the gas separation. From this statement, this is for before we use the detailed gas solid separation, we must identify what is the property of the gas. Is it adaptable with the existing gas solid separation or not? If we don't do this, it may cause a disaster to the, not disaster, an accident to the factory. So particulate solid are separated from gas stream from a variety of reasons. In some instance, the interest is in the recovery of solid as a product. Uh, Next, in the other case, the emission of fine particle solid and dust from a operation may be excessive, and therefore a reduction and control of the particle level is required for a protection of subsequent process, equipment or environment emission. This statement want to tell us that in some case, the gas solid separation is used to limit the solid and the dust from enter the main process system. So it, it will be a controllable feed that we use to control the solid from being excessive, and or it will damage the main uh, main system. So we move to the next slide. So there, as I mentioned earlier, there are three equipment used in the industry, which is the inertial separator, electrostatic separator, and the filters. So we start with the inertial separator. Inertial separator concentrate or collect particle by changing the direction of motion of the following gas flowing gas in such a way that the particle trajectory cross over the gas streamlines, and the particles are either concentrated into a small part of the gas flow or are separated by impingement onto the surface. The second one is the electrostatic separator. An electrostatic separator is a device for separating particles by mass in a low energy charge beam. An example is an electrostatic precipitator used in a coal-fired power plant to treat exhaust gas, removing small particles that cause air pollution. And the last one is the very common use gas solid separation is a filter, a device of a mass of material, either, for example, as sand or paper, with which a gas or liquid is passed to remove something. The filter removes dust from the air. So that's it from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Now I will talk about the difference between gas solid separation and the distillation process. There's a lot of difference in this situation, but I will only talk about three different things: the method, the equipment, and the result. For the gas solid separation, there's a lot of technology are using this process, but one of them is a cyclone, so I choose the cyclone. The method used for the cyclone is to remove particles from an air, gas, or liquid steam without the issue of filter through the voltage separation. And for the distillation process, separating the component or substance from a liquid mixture by using selective boiling and condensation. The equipment used in the cyclone is a hydrocyclone, rotation, as a gas cyclone, and rotation effect and gravity. The hydrocyclone, just as in the name, is hydro, so it's for the liquid to remove particle from the liquid. And for the gas cyclone, just as its name, gas remove a particle from a gas. And the rotation effect and gravity are used to separate the mixture of solid and the fluids. For the distillation process, the equipment used is a dry distillation. The dry distillation is the heating of solid material to produce a gaseous product, which may condense into liquid or solid. The result that we get from this process for the gas solid separation in the cyclones, particles larger than the cut point will be removed with greater efficiency, and smaller particles with a lower efficiency as they separate with more difficult or can be subject to returning then when the air vortex reverses directly to move in direction of outlet. This for the distillation process, essentially complete separation nearly pure component, or it may be a partial separation that increases the concentration of selected component in the mixture. That is the difference between gas-solid separation and distillation column for the method, equipment, and the result. This is for me. Thank you very much.